I want to see him draft. So now,
Ooh, Herald of
Herald.
Anafenza.
that looks like an easy pick. I mean, there's some nice gold options, but they're gold. And
Right.
Herald is both better and single color. I mean, probably better. Better?
Better question mark, but not that relevant.
The
Single
fact that it's
colored,
single
one
colored
mana,
puts
and
it way over
it's
the
a
top.
game. It's a card that can actually take over the whole game on its own. It's just too much power to pass up. Jesse's going to make sure he knows everything that's in this pack.
Right. Which charms he's passing.
Yeah, what he's passing.
Which charms people need to play around. There's a Savage Punch in the pack. He's going to warn his team about.
He's also going to try to figure out what he can get back.
Sure.
Because if you take a Herald of Anafenza, you can go a few different directions, right? But you don't necessarily know which one to go, and this is going to help guide his decision. Like if he I think what's the next best card here is the Battle Priest probably, and then maybe the Abzan Charm. So he's probably going to be like, well, I'd like to take the Herald, but I have to be careful not to overcommit to Abzan just in case, the pack 2. Now, as it stands though, if he gets shipped a bunch of good Abzan stuff, he can just take it. He's getting 2 packs worth of that. All right, so Herald hits his hand. He said he got a good night's sleep last night. So.
I'll bet.
Try to get an angle here on what he's looking at here. So for those of you that were watching us with Paulo, you'll see this pack will look familiar. Here's the Death Frenzy.
Yeah. Scavenger. He's the Jeskai Ascendancy.
So this would be to move.
With
this
the
would be the
Weapon
time
Master.
to move in, right? Is like you're like, you know what? I'm doing it. We're Jeskai.
Right.
And spoiler alert, he does
doesn't.
not do that. He's actually got the War Shrieker pulled up. Maybe he
Yeah,
figures
War
going
Shrieker's
Marduk's
reasonable.
the best because he passes an
can also-
Abzan card and a Sultai card here. Maybe he just figures.
I mean, he can be red, white, go wide, right?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like he's got
He's
it narrowed
thinking
down
the
between
Ascendancy.
those two. He passes it, and it doesn't come back because Paulo takes it, right?
Yeah, it turns out Paulo grabs it 7th out of this pack. Right before Jesse gets to see it a second time. Wow, if Paulo hadn't taken that, it looks like maybe Jesse was right there. Hordling Outburst. That's perfect with the War
That's
Shrieker.
just perfect. You said go wide, right?
Yeah.
Hordling Outburst has proven standard
And a War
playable.
Shrieker and an Aerostorm all in this pack.
Yeah.
That Aerostorm, Paulo ends up de-drafting.
See, and that's interesting, right?
Yeah, no, Paulo had a pretty good read on Jesse, I
He
think.
really did. This is fascinating seeing it with a player right next to him because now, like what Paulo was thinking starts to become more clear of the cards that he's taking. We're like, well, you're not going to play Aerostorm because there was a playable, but he really didn't want his opponent to have it.
Yeah, he didn't want to pass
and
it to
probably
Jesse.
figured that it was better to take it from his opponent
There's Hordling
than
Outburst.
to take the mediocre card for his deck. Mardu Hateblade. I also
Where's
saw
the red and the
Sultai
white?
Scavenger,
Oh,
and there's the Aerostorm that Paulo kind of wanted to look into but didn't ultimately take.
Yeah, Jesse takes this one, right?
Yeah,
Aerostorm's got to be better than
I feel like
Hateblade.
that's a fairly easy pick here.
I mean, Hateblade's the only other. You don't start with Disowned Ancestors your first black card. Yeah, he goes Aerostorm.
Ooh.
Oh, he pump fakes Aerostorm. Then he goes
All right,
Aerostorm.
well, he had us in the air.
I guess so.
Finished in the top 4 of either Sunday Super Series tournament. Please meet the judges in the back of the room.
Man, that first Aerostorm almost tabled.
Yes, he almost got it back.
Shortly. Again, if you finished in the top 4 of either Sunday Super Series tournament, please meet the judges in the back side of the room.
Watcher of the Roost, right?
I love Watcher of the Roost.
Yeah.
So yes.
I mean, Leaping Master's okay.
Leaping Master's okay. Watcher of the Roost is a lot
Watcher
better.
seems better.
Yeah, I did see though there's a rush of battle that it looks like is going to start being pretty primed in Jesse's
This is
deck.
a little early for that. I mean, that
It's
could
true.
easily come back.
Sure,
I think you Watcher here.
I like Watcher.
I mean, part of the point of the go wide deck is that you can get past things like Rush of Battle and Trumpet Blast, where you don't have to spend premium picks on them because you're the only one at the table they're any good for.
It's true. Looks like our computer powered through there.
All right, good job, computer. Narset,
Venerable
Lamasu, none of
Lamasu,
these
no
do
thank
anything.
you.
Which colors is the land?
It is a
Green.
blossoming sand, so it's green and white.
I mean, it's not a terrible speculation here.
This pack is miserable for
Yes.
Jesse.
You're not playing Bloodfire Mentor.
Yeah, unlikely to play the Lamasu
What's
as
the red
well.
card in the back for 2R? Take the Narset?
It's boulders, the barrage of boulders.
Oh, Barrage of Boulders. I mean, you could put a Barrage of Boulders in your sideboard.
Yeah, you could.
You can put a Narset in your deck in case you wind up Jeskai. Do you go Venerable Lamasu?
Sure. It's the White Siege Dragon.
None of those should matter. I don't think I've ever attacked with a Venerable Lamasu.
Nope, it's not a good Magic card.
Weapon Master.
I've never been attacked
Jeskai
by or
Student.
attacked with one.
Student or the Weapon Master are both reasonable here.
Man,
I mean,
if he
he's
would have
not-
taken the Weapon Master here, I'm assuming he doesn't, but if he would have,
Uh-huh.
oh, how his fates would have changed.
I mean,
right?
Paulo killed the Ascendancy.
He
I
killed
guess
the
did then pass
Ascendancy,
him the
but
Wind
then
Scout, though.
The Wind Scouts and that
Crippling
Mantis
Chill,
Rider just
Mantis
flying
Rider.
around the table.
Good point. Yeah, he didn't take the Weapon Master there.
A late student also in the next pack.
More Weapon Masters. Is
Good.
it time?
It's
Oh,
a
and a
good
red-white
card.
land. Is it red-white? No, red-green.
Red green.
My bad.
Rugged Highlands.
He has no black cards. You take a Weapon Master here. Okay. At least I'm not crazy.
Yeah, it's strange. He really seems to be
Hesitant to pick
hesitant
up a
to
third
go
color.
into it. Yeah. Maybe he just wanted to be two colors.
I mean, you still can be. You're just speculating. You don't have to play it.
It's also colorless.
Exactly. I mean, you're not excited to play Grey Ogre in your deck, but do what you got to do sometimes.
Jesse knows a lot about that. And see, there's that Wind Scout
Mm-hmm. With the Russia battle.
with the Rush of Battle. But Wind Scout is like in the right deck, it's a premium
fine
common.
Magic card.
Yeah. It delivers huge chunks of damage. But I think, yeah, Jesse
Wow.
just feels like he needs to take the Russia battle because, you know, we talked about he's going to need critical mass of those. What, 2 or 3 of them, you know,
Yeah.
of those / Trumpet Blast to make his deck really good.
Now there's a Water Whirl. Even the Jeskai banner is floating around.
It's just literally a flag saying just guys open. And there's a second Rush of Battle for Jesse. So nice pickup there. He kind of gets those out of the way here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have 2 of those now. Now, I mean, he doesn't actually have enough tokens to feel good about playing 2 Russia
No,
battles yet.
But he's
But
got 2
it's-
packs to come.
Exactly. Ponyback Brigades are nice, Hordling Outbursts, Take Up Arms.
Yeah, Mardu Horde Chief being one of the easiest ways to just widen out your
Right.
board.
I mean, and it's nice if they're warriors, like what the Horde Chief makes, but you'll settle for goblins.
Absolutely. Okay, so white, red, a little bit of blue,
Maybe.
a little bit of blue. Yeah, but I mean, he's really stuck to white, red
Yeah.
fiercely here.
Yeah, and this deck does want to be aggressive, so it does prefer to be 2 color. It doesn't really want to futz around with lands that come into play tapped and trying to make a 3rd color work. He would definitely prefer to just be a tight 2 color aggro deck here.
Yeah, he's going to need a few more 2-drops. I think that's what he's going to look at. Of course, removal is going to be an issue as he doesn't have any yet.
True. He's probably also hesitant with the Weapon Master because Ponyback Brigade is so good in this archetype.
Totally.
That he keeps, I think in his head, he may think of himself as Mardu, even though I don't think there's a single black card in his pile.
Yeah, he's got the War Shrieker that can make black. Maybe that's
Yeah, that is,
Master here.
that can help flip over a Ponyback for sure.
okay. Let's see what he picks up here. This is going to say a lot probably about the direction that he wants to go. Ooh.
Saddle Brute?
Ooh.
Oh!
What's it like to be Jesse Hampton?
High Sentinels.
High Sentinels of Arshan.
He's just going to keep taking white rares.
It's either the first or second best card in the set, so I'll let the chat can fight that one out. But
I'm
either
on
way-
Team Wingmate Rock.
sure. And I actually probably would join you, but I can make a compelling
But you know
argument
what?
for high Sentinels.
Finals of the Grand Prix, you're okay opening the second best card in the set in a color you're already drafting.
Fine with it. In my primary color. Unbelievable pickup for Jesse Hampton. So
He's not even looking at the high Sentinels. He's like, the figuring out what to draft portion of this pack is done.
Yeah, I think
now
what he
it's the
might
figuring
do,
out what's coming back portion.
Right, so I think what he's doing is counting out what he feels like are the next best cards or the next most likely to get drafted, and then he can start to get an idea of what, I could get this or this back, and if I don't, you know, there's a mental...
Plus the other thing that's really important is having that conversation with your teammates when you sit down to build. I passed this. Did you see this card or this card? Oh, that means that Paolo must have taken X. Like if he can remember enough examples of this, what did you see in this pack? You can deduce exactly what your opponents are up to.
It's incredible how much information you can get about what your opponents are doing.
Yeah,
like basically you know every card in their deck outside of the ones that they opened.
Right, he's gonna be like, who's passing to Paolo? I haven't gotten a good wide shot at the table.
Well, right now Jesse is, but
in the other packs though.
On the other one?
Yeah, it's Matt, right? He
It's
can
Matt
say,
Nass.
hey
Matt Nass is on his right.
Did you see a fourth pick Ice Feather Aven?
Uh-huh.
No.
No.
That means Paolo is blue-green.
Right.
Done.
Done. Yeah,
Jesse's going to take the War Shrieker here. Yeah, the fourth pick Ice Feather Aven is a super easy one to ask about. It's like, no, Paolo took third pick Ice Feather Aven, so now they just know. And that can legitimately affect your deck building, too.
Absolutely.
If you figure out, oh, they're all playing blue, we better make sure we're not soft to flyers, like Sagu Archer in the main rather than the sideboard, stuff
now,
like that.
Are they going to know who they're playing while they're doing their deck build? Like the person?
Yes.
So that's interesting too, right?
Absolutely.
Bringing in like basically pre-sideboarded, is that a
this Warname aspirant is exactly what Jesse wants.
Yeah, we were talking about him wanting low drops, and there's a great one for him.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have the ones. I don't think he took that Hate Blade way back when, so he's not going to necessarily be able to trigger the raid on turn 2.
No, he's got a Jeskai student.
Just triggering the raid on turn 4 and go like 2-drop, one of which is a rated up Warname is great.
It's great.
War Shrieker into Warname Aspirant is also spectacular. He's got 2 War Shriekers.
Yes.
That is a very legitimate line
great
of play.
Point.
Snowhorn, still no Ponybacks.
There's that Goblin Slide. An Enoch Tracker, really nothing great for him. It looks like he's already moved into maybe hate draft mode here. I think his deck does not care about Pearl Link Agent at all.
No, he might care about
how good is it
Snowhorn
against
Rider.
his opponent or his team.
Yeah, that's really hard to know.
Yeah.
You just don't have a ton of information about what your teammates are drafting here.
I mean, it's a good card. It's not a great card. Jesse's deck seems particularly well suited to just blasting right by it.
Yep.
Goblin Slide does not feel likely to make the deck for him, but he could.
There are Goblin Slide decks. If you know exactly what you're doing, then you are Luis Scott Vargas.
Or if you're crazy.
Right. Go watch the Luis Scott Vargas video if you want to see Goblin Slide in action.
There you go. Was that a High Spire Mantis?
Was it? I saw the Mind Swipe in this pack. If there's a High Spire Mantis,
Swipe?
that would be insane.
It's a Mind Swipe.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Valley
it is a High
Dash.
Spire
It is a High
Mantis.
Spire Mantis.
Get in the
Good
deck.
grief. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's super late. He's the only he's got to be the only red-white drafter at this point.
Again, I'm left asking myself, what's it like to be Jesse?
No, I would have
the
been
guy
okay
drives
with
all night to play the GP, and the Magic gods are rewarding him, like Heliod's just hooking him up from above.
True story.
Show your dedication to the game, open High Sentinels of Aershin. That's our new marketing
I would have been
campaign.
okay taking Valley Dasher out of that pack.
Yeah, it goes in his deck fine.
High Spire Mantis?
High Spire Mantis is a great card. There's mana fixing for him, or he can take
Windsguard
Dazzling
Crag.
Ramparts.
Totally Windsguard Crag. Oh, we're in the third War Shrieker. What do you think?
I think I take the Crag.
It's actually tough. Like
it is actually tough. I mean, if you're straight 2 colors, you don't actually need fixing.
Right. And you
Still
don't,
nice
and you kind of, you're aggressive, so you don't love plants that come into play tapped.
Yeah.
His 4 slot is filling up.
It's filling up quickly. Yeah, he's already got 2 War Shriekers and a High Spire Mantis, plus the High Sentinels.
Exactly.
Of Aershin, yeah.
You don't need another 4-drop. I think you take the multi-land here.
Yeah, I think so too. I like that pick.
Wow. All night, through the snow,
And
uphill.
There's another 2-drop.
Yeah.
Sweeping Master.
It looks like a pretty easy pick.
I think so too. And again, you said it is the only one in red-white here. This is ridiculous. This is pack 2?
Yeah, he's done.
Like,
think he's probably...
He's got 22 right now. He could just start hate drafting everything out of every pack if he wanted. What is that? What is that thing? Oh, a deflecting palm.
Sure.
Yeah. Not a huge fan of deflecting palm. Might be good in this deck. I don't really like it generally.
There's a Trumpet Blast if he wants that. Doesn't really have a ton of... Oh, Active Treason might be better.
That's
given how
interesting.
few token makers he's actually picked up. Like,
Yeah,
he
that
hasn't
is
really
true.
added anything to the go wide aspect of his deck, this pack.
No, he hasn't.
Already got 2 Rusher Battle? I think I would Active Treason here.
I think he does want one in his deck, so can definitely see that.
Defiant Strike, really?
Whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Trumpet Blast, Defiant Strike, Active Treason.
Trumpet Blast.
Or
I mean, Trumpet Blast like the best Defiant Strike ever. If you're going to take the pump spell, you probably just want the one that's...
Yeah, I would rather have... I feel like I'd rather have 1 Active Treason and 2 Mass Pumpers than 3 Mass Pumpers.
I think so too. I think he wants 1 Active Treason in his list.
Agreed.
Valley Dasher came back.
Of course it did.
Why wouldn't it?
Doesn't really have much removal, right?
No.
No burnaways.
That's why I like the Active Treason.
Yeah, it's same. Can't really get creatures out of the way.
Yeah,
Can be tricky for
if
Valley
opponent
Dasher.
goes like morph into 3/4 or something, like he's going to have a rough time with that. You know, tracker, not particularly great.
He's not afraid of the morphs, though. I mean, a deck like this, Valley Dasher's happy to attack into the morph. Do you want to trade? It's fine.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, and then they trade that off, and then his follow-up play can't beat a 3/4, right? And that's where things can get sketchy for Jesse.
Where are these 3/4s coming from?
Oh, like a Sultai Flare. You know, just something decent like that. I tried to aim in the middle.
Sure. Most people who play a morph on turn 3 tend to then play another one on turn 4. But
okay, sure. All right, so that was just a great pack for Jesse.
He could use removal.
I can't believe this is a team draft deck, right? Like, this just feels like we're commentating a normal 8-person.
It's not like he's passed to get this either.
No.
He's just
no, he has not been selfish.
He's
it's
opened
just all there.
He's opened 2 rares of the same color and gotten into the stuff that was getting passed to him. Nobody has hooked him. I mean, Paulo took one of his Aerostorms that almost came back around. Paulo did him a favor by taking Jeskai Ascendancy and not tempting him to go that way. I love this deck.
I couldn't quite see how many he counted there, but it's got to be north of 20. All right, so let's see if he can keep it up here. Looks like they're being held up for just a moment during the recording here. Jesse Hampton putting together a real masterpiece of a red-white deck here for the final round. He's got a lot of flexibility.
That's what I want.
Take-up arms, yes.
I'm not willing to ask for rares, but I think I'd be asking for take-up arms.
We're off of Ponyback Brigade here, right? Like, we just want to be red-white. Maybe if we get free black sources.
I would probably draft a Ponyback Brigade and think about it, but there's no free black yet.
Okay, so let's see what he picks up here. There's an Alabaster Kirin, I like that.
Wow, do you play Swift Spear? Do you kill a Rakshasa Death Dealer?
He's thinking about it. He's going to get a playable back on the wheel anyway.
Yeah, the Death Dealer would be a D-draft.
Yes. And it's certainly worth considering here.
Yeah, it's worth considering. Valley Dasher, Swift Spear. Valley Dasher's probably coming back.
Yeah, he can get the Swift Spear, the Valley Dasher, or the Yeti.
Is this deck aggressive enough to play Swift Spear? Wow. Tough pick. I mean, none of those cards are real worthy of a first pick. So I can definitely see the case, and his deck is good.
It's already
He's not hurting for playables.
Yeah, I would
definitely
just take
see the case for killing the Death Dealer.
Yeah, I don't think the Alabaster Kirin really adds much to his list either. He's already sweet on 4 drops.
Yeah, I would take this. I think I would take Swift Spear if I was drafting for my own deck. I think it's not like I don't even normally like playing Swift Spear, so taking it first is
that's awkward.
Awkward to say the least. Is that what he did?
Yeah, he took it.
Yeah, I mean,
He does have War Name Aspirant, like,
oh, that's true.
you know, it's one of the ways he can get that thing going.
Jesse's feeding Tom Martell here. It's like a BDM whispering in my ear that Martell was very happy to get the Rakshasa Death Dealer. Apparently had something like 5 creatures at this point in the draft.
Wow. Hey, there's a take-up arms.
Ha!
Asked
gotta be
and
the
answered, Your Honor.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that Paulo had opened it.
Very nice. Okay, so Jesse, Hampton now going
Now what do you
from
want?
wide to wider.
Who needs pony back? We'll just do Hordling Outburst and take up arms. It's another Russia battle. Does not need a 4th mass pumper. What does this pack have for him?
It's got a burn away, so he's
Burn
finally
away.
found some removal here.
Yeah, you totally take the burn away.
Yeah. A little clunky, but certainly gets the job done.
I mean, the fact
Kills
that it just
basically everything.
randomly hoses the Delve decks too.
Especially
can
given
be
what we know.
savage.
Yeah, I mean,
You get the matchup against somebody who cares about their graveyard and he just randomly, thoroughly hoses them.
yeah, that is such a disappointment. Every time that's happened to me, I look at it like, why did they put this on here?
Right.
Because I exiled
It's a
my
pretty
graveyard.
savage hoser to have randomly floating around on a card that's just an auto play
Yeah.
for whoever winds up with it.
So a good pickup there from Jesse, as that does seem to be the weakness of his deck currently, is that he doesn't have a lot of ways to get creatures
Right.
out of the way.
He
Right
would
now,
like
he's
a
got
burn away.
Yeah, a burn away and an arrow storm is what he's got. Maybe a bring down,
Yeah,
a bring
maybe
low.
one
excuse
bring
me.
low.
Yeah. I mean, we can dream big and go for like a suspension field if you want to.
I'll settle for bring low. I don't want to get greedy.
All right.
The Magic Gods are currently favoring us with
Yeah.
something. Our sign is
Yeah.
right.
And they certainly know when you stop favoring.
Can't get greedy.
Maybe still recovering from his all-night drive. Or maybe just trying to get the pick shipped over to him. So Feet of Resistance seems to be the pick here, huh?
Wow.
I mean,
There's the Mantis Rider
Yeah,
that we
Jesse's
saw
looking
floating
at it.
through Paulo's hands.
yeah, but he has no fixing for it whatsoever.
Yeah, no. Feet, easy pick.
And Feet is a great card, so
Mantis Rider's lap around the table is still funny.
wow, Horde Ambusher too. You know, we were talking about his lack of removal, and Horde Ambusher isn't removal, but it does a reasonable impression if you just need to get in for one hit, and Jesse's deck looks like
Wow.
it's going to chip away early and then do that one
Sign
big
me
hit.
up.
Team Jesse Hampton.
Yeah,
Randy's on it.
I'm in. My conversations with Jesse so far have been about vintage rotisserie draft.
He's crazy in that, by the way. He's insane. All right, there's that Jeskai student. Another reasonable
Yeah, it's a fine
two-drop here
two-drop.
for him, yeah.
He was like, why did you not sideboard out that Blightsteel Colossus against the guy who could take it, who had bribery? What were you thinking? It's just like 6 weeks ago in another format, another side of the country. Yeah, maybe you're right. I should have sideboarded it out.
I knew something was bugging me for a month and a half straight. Jesse's crazy. He took Time Vault, I think with his first or second pick, like just, it's an awesome card, but it usually doesn't go that high.
Alabaster Kieran.
Yeah, there's a Kieran here. We did talk about
Oh,
it
the Valley
earlier.
Dasher.
Yeah, his 4-drop slot's a little bit loaded,
Yeah,
so
this
he
is
might want
totally
to
a
go for the
curve pick.
Dasher. Yeah,
Kieran is the better card.
for
but
sure.
He's got plenty of 2-drops. He's just got that student. It's
Yeah.
reasonable. Kieran's also a notch above,
Yeah,
card quality-wise.
it is very good. That was the pack that he opened as well, and he got all that stuff back, and this is just ridiculous.
But we're
Mardu
playing
Charm is a card
two-color.
he would absolutely love to play. It's also reasonable against him, so he's probably going to have to take it either way.
Yeah, that
but-
becomes the question here. Right, he knows there's no Jeskai player because from everything that's been floating.
But like,
There
it
could
kills
be a
his High
Mardu
Sentinels the
player.
turn it comes down. He can make a couple of first strike tokens and eat. you know, a couple of tokens that are attacking. So even though he's very unlikely to play it, I think he's trying to gauge, well, how likely am I to play a Sage Eye Harrier here? And the fact is, probably not that likely. He's fine on playables, and Sage Eye Harrier is really not that good anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think when you factor
Kill the
in,
Mardu Charm.
you know, the fact that your opponent doesn't get this, you're good to go. There's that rush of
The
power.
guy you're feeding did play all 5 colors in the semifinals.
Yeah,
so.
he's capable of anything. No doubt about that. Yeah, and with, like you said, 3 pump spells for his whole team, he doesn't need to pick up the 4th one there with the rush
Never
of
did
battle.
get the Active Treason, did he?
Well, no, he didn't. Maybe he'll get it here.
Did you just pass an Active Treason in that pack?
I did not see that.
Just man might just not like Active Treason.
I mean, he took nothing. He took a Defiant Strike over it?
It is an inherently card disadvantage card.
I don't think he cares at all about that with this deck.
I mean, they're...
How is it card disadvantage? You get to steal their guy.
You kill them, right.
Yeah, it's
that's
on the
your
last
removal
turn
spell.
of the game.
My removal spell costs 2R.
It's a player advantage spell.
Kill target player. All right, fine. It's card disadvantage,
But not if the game ends before you give the creature back.
I'm willing to discard a card to kill my opponent.
Exactly.
That is the only scenario in which case I will do it. But there's that stupid.
Is he finally the one that kills it? Swift Kick,
Canyon Lurker is actually decent.
He could play a Canyon Lurker.
I think I would take it. I think
There's
I'm
no
convinced
reason
that
to take the
nobody's
Mantis Rider.
playing Mantis Rider.
100% agree.
Yeah.
There's no way someone can. I mean, unless you're like.
All right, he's
looking at Tom Martell. Like, what if Tom's all 5 colors again?
Yeah, that's true. And you can pick up an Enoch Tracker here, or even a Cavalry if he wants to be hyper aggressive. I don't think he has quite enough incentive for Cavalry to actually make the cut. But all right, we have hit the dregs here.
More War Name Aspirants. Couple more War Name. How many War Name Aspirants does it take to get you to play main deck Firehoof Cavalry?
Probably the 3rd one.
The 3rd one? 3 was my number as well.
Yeah. He takes the Wii Fate. I think I would just take the Banner. Like, you might cut a desperate